Hi everyone, Tina Killeran here. Thanks so much for joining me as we continue our discussion about good nutrition. Now, I know that we've been talking about this all week and there's a lot of information for you to take in and for you to learn and for you to digest. Here's the thing that I really want you to focus on. I want you to really think about you and your body and how you respond to things. Because there's a shit ton of information out there on the internet. And you can read a gazillion different things and everything conflicts. Drink this, don't drink that. Eat this, don't eat that. Take a supplement, don't take a supplement. Do this exercise, don't do that exercise. Do this to burn more fat, right? It goes on and on and on and on, right? The list is really endless. Here's the point that I need to make to you. I need you to listen to your body and to learn what your body responds to. How does your body react to different things that you're doing for you? What works for Sally might not work for you. What worked for Bob might not work for you. What worked for your mom might not work for you either. So you need to listen to your body. You need to understand how your body operates. Okay? So today I want to talk to you about macronutrients, micronutrients, body type, and nutrient timing. A lot of information to cover. So grab your pencil, grab your paper, and let's follow along. I want to make one specific point to you. I need you to listen to your body, and I need you to listen to your doctor. If your doctor has told you something totally different than what I'm going to make suggestions of here in this video, listen to your doctor. Okay, there's my disclaimer for you. Make sure you're checking everything out with your doctor. Okay, let's talk a little bit about micronutrients to start with, because this is a short topic. Micronutrients are your vital vitamins and minerals that you should be taking in on a daily basis. You know, you've heard of the RDA, right? Your recommended daily allowance of your vitamin C, vitamin D, E, everything else, vitamin K, things like that. Those are your vital vitamins and minerals that your body should be taking in on a daily basis. These are the nutrients that you're receiving from the foods that you eat. However, over the course of time, doing soil depletion, over farming, a whole host of varied items that are going on in the world, food is not as nutrient dense as it used to be. Right? So what your mom and dad ate way back when is totally different than what you and I are eating right now. So my suggestion to you is take a supplement. Whether that's a pill, drinking a shake, however you want to take your supplement, I'm going to encourage you to take a supplement to fill in those blanks or those nutrient deficiencies that you probably have in your system. Many of you know I drink Shakeology on a daily basis to get all of my vitamins and minerals in on a daily basis. That's my choice. So you can choose to drink Shakeology, you can choose to drink your vitamins in another way, or you can choose to take them in pill form, okay? Point is, I want you to take a supplement to make sure that you're getting all your micronutrients. Let's talk about macronutrients. There's three basic categories for macronutrients: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. When we talk proteins, think meat, think eggs, okay? Think mussels, okay? When we talk about fats, consider olives, cheese, avocados, olive oils. Those are your fats. Carbohydrates, pretty much everything else. Fruits, vegetables, and your grains, okay? Now that's not an all-inclusive list. There's a lot of other things that go on that list. There's also some things that kind of cross the line in between a few things. Beans are a carbohydrate, yet they provide a good source of protein. Especially if you're eating a vegan or vegetarian diet, beans are an excellent source of protein, even though it is a carbohydrate, higher in carbohydrates. So there are going to be some of those things that kind of fall into two categories. But for the most part, I want you to think proteins are meats, fats are avocados, cheeses, and oils, seeds, nuts, and your carbohydrates are your vegetables, your fruits, and your grains. Okay, got that so far? Good, let's move on. Let's talk about your body type, okay? Because your body type is going to kind of change a little bit about how you're thinking about your macronutrients, okay? So let's talk about 3 different body types. Ectomorph. An ectomorph tends to be a skinnier, leaner, thinner individual. I want you to think about an endurance athlete. Most marathon runners are ectomorphs. Ectomorphs can have higher carbohydrates, moderate proteins, lower fats. For the most part, I'm making generalizations here. Don't take my word as gospel, okay? Making some generalizations here. Ectomorphs, right? Again, skinny. They can take in higher carbohydrates, moderate proteins, lower fats. Mesomorphs. Mesomorphs are more of your athletes. They're a little bit stockier. They're more of a solid build to them. They carry more muscle mass. They can tend to move and fluctuate a little bit better on those macronutrients. So they can take in either higher carbs or lower carbs, higher proteins, lower carbs, fats, and then higher fats and lower fats and higher proteins, lower proteins. So they can kind of flux a little bit as their body can easily adjust to the intake of their macronutrients. The last category is an endomorph. And I think if you're listening to this video right now, you might fall under that ectomorph category. Okay. Endomorphs tend to carry a little bit more body fat. We tend to carry a little bit more body fat around our middles, okay? We tend to be a little bit larger boned. We tend to struggle a little bit with our weight. We tend to have a little bit of a wider waist, okay? So you probably fall into one of those categories. And again, you might have that little gray area where you kind of go in between. So we make generalizations. So if you are an endomorph, again, carrying that little bit of that higher body fat, the way that you should be looking at your macronutrients is a lower carbohydrate, moderate proteins, higher fats. Okay, remember we talked about it yesterday that you need to increase your fat intake in order to lose fat. I know that blows so many people's minds to think that they have to eat fat to lose fat. Trust me, that's just the way your body works. Remember, we talked about your body being an amazing machine. Your body knows exactly where to put things when it needs it. So your body needs fat to lose fat. Okay, now I don't want you to think that you need to track your macronutrients. I don't want you to think that at all. If you want to, by all means, feel free. There's a ton of different trackers out there, especially with the advent of all of our smartphones, right? But the way I want you to think about your macronutrients is putting it on a plate and thinking of it as a pie chart, okay? So for us endomorphs who carry that little bit of extra body fat, we want to try and lower those carbohydrates. Now again, I want to make sure that I'm making a distinction between your fruits and your vegetables and your grains, okay? Fruits and vegetables, those are good carbohydrates. Your body needs those, right? Because we talked about those micronutrients. Need that. Your body still needs grains and still needs regular carbohydrates. So for those folks who say, no, I'm on a low carb diet, usually what that means is they're on a low starch, low grain diet. And that's totally cool. So when you look at your plate, I want you to think about taking less of your plate for those grains, more for the greens, right? And a moderate sized protein and a moderate sized fat in there too. So I want you to play with that. Now again, this is one of those things that you definitely have to play with a little bit. Remember we talked yesterday about 2 weeks. You work out and you eat really well for 2 weeks and your body doesn't change at all and you say, fuck it, I quit. I don't want you to quit. Your body takes longer than 2 weeks to adjust to a new program. Stick with it at least 30 days. Ideally, 60 days. Try following your program for 60 days. If you're not seeing the changes that you want in your body, we're going to talk about honesty and outcome tomorrow. All right. We're definitely going to talk about that because that's really important that we are honest with ourselves with what we're doing relative to our bodies. I know, Amanda, I think it's funny too, but we have to be honest with ourselves, right? So I want you to play with it for 60 days, right? Kind of stick to your plan for 60 days. And if it's not working for you, make adjustments, tweak it. Take what you're learning about all of that plethora of information that's on the internet and all of us talking heads who come to you and give you a little bit of tidbit of information. Remember, what I'm saying is not gospel, Okay? What I'm saying is, oh, that's an interesting concept. I might try putting that into practice for me, but I want you to put it into practice for 60 days. Don't constantly be fluxing your program every week. Your body won't have a time to adjust to it, and you won't know effectively what's working for you and what's not working for you. So my suggestion is 30 to 60 days. Stick with a plan, stick with a program, and if it's not working, tweak it accordingly. Okay? So that's really what I want you to kind of think about. So I'm going to relate it to 21 Day Fix. A lot of my people, a lot of my challengers all follow those really cute color-coded containers. They're fabulous for teaching us about portion control, and I love that because we tend to overeat. I mean, we go to a restaurant and you get a huge plate of food. That's too much food. So the portion-sized containers are perfect for us. But here's the thing, specific to me being an endomorph, for me, the 21 Day Fix plan as it's written has a little too much carbohydrate in there for me and not enough fat. So usually if I have a challenger who's been at it for 60 days, has lost some weight and has now plateaued, it's a matter of tweaking things a little bit. So Amanda and I just had this conversation yesterday, and I actually had a conversation yesterday with my success partner as well, saying, I'm going to lower that yellow container, that starchy carbohydrate. I'm going to increase the green. So this way I'm still getting a carbohydrate, just not the starchy carbohydrate. And then I'm increasing my blues. So I'm adding a little bit more fat to my diet. And yes, Amanda, that's exactly what I'm doing, for example, right? So I take out one yellow, I add a green, and I add a blue. I need more fat in my diet. That's just me. And that only comes with time and with tweaking things a little bit. But I understand where you guys are coming from, where you're like, I don't know where to tweak. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to eat. And I've been doing this for so long and I'm stuck right here. This is where I help you. This is where you and I have a conversation where we talk about, let's talk about your body type. Let's talk about your exercise, and let's talk about what's working and what's not working. Because here's the interesting thing that I want to point out to you again, relative to exercise. So this is our last topic for today, and I want to talk about nutrient timing. What? Okay, let's just say you're a morning exerciser. Okay, you get up first thing in the morning and you exercise in the morning, first thing in the morning. Awesome. I want you to think of your cells as a grape. Okay, your cells should all be the size of a grape. But now you've exercised, and your grape has now turned into a raisin. So it's all depleted of energy. And I don't want to get overly sciencey, and I don't want to break it down exactly how it all works, okay? But your cell is supposed to be the size of a grape, and it's now a raisin after exercise. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to plump back up that raisin and turn it back into a grape. Here's what happens. We take in carbohydrates. Carbohydrates goes into that cell and it puffs up that cell again and makes it that size of the grape. Okay? If your cell is already the size of a grape, okay, and now you take in carbohydrates, that carbohydrates get stored as fat. Is that not what we're trying to get rid of? Absolutely. So here's what I want you to think about when we think about nutrient timing. I want you to eat your carb heaviest meal. And I'm not saying go overboard and go ridiculous. Again, this is where those portion size containers are really handy. When your cells are depleted of their energy, that's when I want you to eat your carbohydrates. So you're a morning exerciser, okay? You wake up in the morning and your cells are nice and plump. You go and you work out, it's turned into that raisin. Now eat your oatmeal. Your oatmeal is going to plump up that cell again to be the size of a grape. And that excess carbohydrate, don't worry about that. It's all going to go into those cells to plump up those cells. It's not getting stored as fat. Okay? That's what I want you to think about as you review and you tweak where you are in your eating. Lots and lots of stuff to think about. But again, it's about you figuring out what works for you. I've been on my journey for 8-9 years now in playing with things, and I will tell you that it's constantly playing with it. Your hormones wreak havoc on what's going on in your body, and you constantly have to tweak things. So for me right now, I'm really lowering my starchy carbohydrates and I'm really increasing my fat intake. And I'm only exercising 4 times a week. Flat out, I'm only exercising 4 times a week. That's it. I don't have to over-exercise in order to change my body. My body's going to change as I change my food. Does that make sense to you? I certainly hope it does. Do me a favor, drop me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Was this way too much information, or did I give you a little bit of an aha? That's interesting. I'm going to need to research that a little bit more. Do me a favor, do your homework, research, reach out to me, ask me questions. Please ask me questions. I am here to help you be as successful on your journey as possible. Tomorrow we talk about honesty. We talk about honesty and we talk about an outcome-based system versus being goal-based. So I'm really looking forward to digging deep with you and talking honestly about what you're doing relative to your nutrition and relative to your whole health and fitness journey. So I want to thank you for joining me today for this episode in our conversation about good nutrition. And I hope that you have an awesome day, and I look forward to chatting with you tomorrow as we talk about honesty and an outcome-based system. I'll see you on the flip side.